This landscape is incredible. It's changing every day, but it's great that there are people like you to be able to kind of pave the way and to kind of show them, hey, here's how it's done. Things change, but here are some core principles that should never change. You know, no matter what era we're in or how technology evolves, this is how it should be done. And I want to end off on this for the podcast. I want to get your thoughts on the current landscape of media, how it's changed. You've been in this quite some time. You know, like I mentioned before, you're experienced, you're a veteran. So I wanted to get your perspective on, how things are today. A lot different from when you covered the league as a columnist with the Los Angeles Times, back in the day. So what would you say are some of the biggest differences you've seen in this media space, in the way the game is covered, kind of compared to when you were just starting off and you're in your journey kind of getting into this space?
Well, I'll start with the things that stay the same to the point you were just making. Fairness and accuracy and the needs for both of those things, that still stays the same, and that's fundamental to what I try to teach both at Northwestern and here, being aware of the legalities and what you're protected, what you're allowed to do, what you can't do, what are the ethical boundaries that you should adhere to.
Yes.
So that hasn't changed. What's changed is that there are more people involved who are kind of in this space who don't necessarily follow all those guidelines, right? And don't feel the need and can get reckless and maybe don't have an institution like the New York Times whose standards they're trying to adhere to, and they can just do and say whatever they feel. They feel entitled to do that. So the fact that you have to compete with that, the fact that the speed is so much faster, you might not have the chance to get the 3 or 4 sources that your boss at the newspaper would have required of you. And now, if you want to be the first to have it on Twitter, you might just have to go with one source.
Yeah, it's got to get it out there.
And that's not healthy, but that's the state of the industry these days. And
that's how it is.
The other thing I say, it might be harder to get paid to do this initially, but the barriers to entry are lower.
Yeah,
Anyone with a phone,
pick it up and record.
This is a publisher. Used to take a printing press and a broadcasting studio and satellite dishes and an FCC license.
Yeah.
Those were the ways to get the word out to mass amounts of people. And now, a cell phone or good Wi-Fi.
Yep.
That's all it takes.
That's all you need.
You can broadcast, you can publish, but it can be a little bit dangerous, but it should be encouraging too that you don't necessarily, there aren't the gates that you have to go through. If you really would love to do this, there's nothing at all stopping you from doing it.
There's no excuses. You just have to be willing to put in the work and invest in yourself. I think believe in yourself is another key component of that. Be confident. Like you said before, you have to have a certain presence, a certain energy about it when you're covering it, at least if you're on camera. And a lot of people like to do that. If you're on YouTube, that's a huge space now, and I've gotten into that recently with the No Trade Clause podcast being on YouTube and try to make a presence there. So the same thing applies. But yeah, I really kind of keyed in on your comment about Twitter and how you need to get things out quickly, and the accuracy sometimes falters in that. And it plays into almost every part of media now. It's like if you're not first, you're last. It's kind of like that's how it almost feels now, and it's unfortunate, but it's just the reality we're in today, where it's like news travels so fast, you have to be on top of it, or else they're going to get it from somebody else, and you become irrelevant. So it's just kind of it can be stressful at times.
The other thing that's better though is I tell women who are interested in getting into business all the time, there's never been a better time to be a woman in this business.
That's true.
You see them everywhere. We saw a historic NBA Finals with Doris Burke doing the commentary for ABC.
Yep.
So, everywhere you look, there are women with great opportunities and who are just killing it on the airwaves or at the microphone or at the keyboard. And so, that's exciting because the industry just looked the same and denied opportunities for so long. And now those opportunities are there, and these women are coming in and just killing it.
They are killing it. Like you said, barriers to entry are a lot lower today. So it's not just about skill level, but the type of, what kind of person you are. It's really cool to see that. So it's like almost everyone has an opportunity now to make their mark. You just have to be willing to work at it.